Thank you for tuning in to Macro View Television and welcome to a brand new edition of Taiwan Outlook, the program that presents the different faces and lets you hear the different voices on Taiwan. I'm your host, Rui Guo. Have you been to the new main public library in New Taipei City? And what's so special about it? We're going to find out on today's program because we are delighted to have Dr. Lin Kuan-Yuh, who's currently the Commissioner of the Cultural Affairs Department of the new Taipei City Government, to talk about the design and the services provided by the new main public library in New Taipei City. Welcome to our program, Dr. Lin.
It's my honor.
Yes, well, it's a pleasure to have you on the program. First of all, Dr. Lin, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, including your education and work experience, please?
Yes. My name is Kuan-Yuh Lin, and I'm currently the Commissioner for Cultural Affairs Department here at the New Taipei City Government.
Yes.
New Taipei City is the biggest city on northern Taiwan, on the island of Taiwan, with a population of about 4 million.
That's a lot.
So I have a degree in information science, which relates to library a lot. So it's my honor and my pleasure to serve the people, and I'm glad to be here to take part of this program.
It's wonderful to have you on the program today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and Dr. Lin, we know that the New Taipei City covers a lot of land area, and certainly, like you said, you have roughly a population size of 4 million. And you now recently, put forth the idea of a 24-hour library services at the new main public library in New Taipei City. Let me ask you, where does the concept or the idea of a 24-hour library service come from? And is there really a demand for library services around the clock? Please.
I think that's a very good question and relates to the central idea of where we see our library today.
Good.
As you know, the communication technology has changed a lot. And let me give you an example. The public library system in California saw a decline of approximately 50% in circulation in the last maybe 20 years.
Okay.
And that's a sign for us to think about library.
Yes.
So now the library, from the traditional role of collecting things and then we put it into a physical building, we now ask ourselves, like many sectors in the industry, where do we see ourselves? And I think the answer is very easy to answer. And we become a user-driven service sector for our citizens.
Good.
Now, so we see a demand for people, staying up late.
Okay.
And I really need to say this. We do not encourage people to come here just for the sake of staying late.
No.
No,
Okay,
don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that. Do whatever you are supposed to do. But if you happen to have a different biological clock than other people, that meaning that you want to stay up late at night,
all right,
maybe you want to use our library. And that's the first thought about our service. And honestly, this is the first of its kind in Taiwan, although not the first in the world. The Public Library of Seattle has a 24/7 service a long time ago. I think they started about 15 or 20 years ago, and it has been very successful. We are now doing a pilot run of the program, and we, of course, we're going to adjust our service, depending on the feedback that we got from our citizens.
Yes, and so far, we know that the new main public library is located in the district of Banqiao.
That's correct.
And what is the local reaction to it? Are people very much welcome the idea of a 24-hour library service?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Of course, you got two different sides of mixed feedback from different people. But the majority of the opinions that we got are very positive.
Yes.
People are saying that why not have a similar service in other parts of the New Taipei City. And then we also got requests from other cities on the island of Taiwan saying
Yes.
that they want a similar service too.
Okay.
So I think we pretty much look forward to the service, and I might remind you that the service, it's not that easy just to prolong the hours of operation. We need to consider, for example, the security issue.
Yes.
We don't want people, come in here and their parents are, worrying about their kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And, because they're in the library, that's not a safe place.
Okay.
So we want to do a lot of things to ensure we provide a very pleasant and very safe environment for people to enjoy reading.
Okay.
That's our purpose.
All right, and also, Dr. Lin, besides providing a 24-hour service to people, to the residents of New Taipei City, what are some of the other objectives for the new main public library? We're going to talk about them each by each later on in the program. But please give us some indicators as to what the new main public library would like to achieve as its mission.
A library, from definition, is a collection of things.
Yes.
So we must define what are the things.
Yes.
It used to be books.
Yes.
Like many 100 years ago, the collection of books. And then now, it's no more just books. We have audiovisual materials.
Good.
And now after the availability of a mobile device, it's different. People can enjoy reading wherever they want and whatever they want on their mobile devices. So we start thinking where the key issue, where do we see ourselves? We are a library. We are not just a collection of books, audio-visual materials. We have a collection of informations, knowledge. So I think library is the center of knowledge. So we collect books. We collect the knowledge that are recorded on the media, and then we make them accessible to people. Used to be books, but no more. So we want to provide digital service. We want to provide a different kind of social functions to people as well.
Okay.
So the library today, I think, in the transition from the traditional collection of books to a new era.
Yes.
For example, people will talk about library for all, a digital library, and those kind of things. And in the United States, as far as I know, public library, I'm talking about public library, they play a vital role in providing people access to the internet because, of some, digital divide issues. Some people, they cannot get on it. They don't have the access. Right. So access to the internet is a very important part of the service today. So good. I think here we want to do the same thing. Is that we not only provide books, information, but we want to provide links to people, to the outside, to the external world of knowledge.
Good. And Dr. Lin, we already talked about the kinds of reaction that people have regarding the 24-hour library service. And generally, it's been very positive. But I suppose, like you said, it's not just an issue of prolonging the operation hours, but also I imagine there were some problems, right? For example, do you have a hard time finding people, staff members, who are willing to work at night? The night shift, maybe from 11 o'clock at night all the way until 8 in the morning. Do you have problems with staffing?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, good.
but we assure our employees that they do not have to take the night shift if they don't want to. Okay. And that's guaranteed.
Okay.
So people now in the public sector, we know that this is not a business that you come in at 9 and then you go home at 5.
Okay.
No, it's not the case anymore.
Okay.
But after the prolonged operation of hours, we use people that are willing to work at 9 to ensure that we have the right people and service to our patrons.
Okay.
And so I don't think that that's a problem. Of course, we do notice that issue, and we are taking a very good care of that.
Yeah, okay. And finally, before we end the first part of the program, Dr. Lin, and people talk about library, like you said, traditionally we think about the collection of books. There must be something special about the collection of books available in the new main public library in New Taipei City. Would you mind sharing some of the collections that you have, please?
Okay. There are, actually many unique books. I would say for the opening ceremony, we have a collection of 3D books.
Oh, 3D
for
books.
3D, that's pop-up books for kids.
Okay.
And I think that's a very unique sectors to providing those kind of things to our young readers. And we want to attract them to start readings as early as possible.
Good. All right.
So that's part of our mission as well.
And we also know that we're going to talk about this a little later in the program. You also have a collection of books for the new immigrants to New Taipei City. Of course, you have spouses and people who are here in Taipei and New Taipei City to work and live. And does that constitute a majority or certainly a sizable part of your operations and services?
New Taipei City has the most population of new immigrants to the island of Taiwan. Mm-hmm. So that's a very important part in the city government's strategic plan. We at libraries as well, we consider them as a very important patrons.
Okay.
What we want to do is, not only we want to provide access to those our new immigrants, but we want to help them preserve their own traditional cultures as well.
Good.
And many people come here, the second generation, for example, if people, they're from Thailand or Indonesia, the second generation, they don't speak the native tongue anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to think about that, again.
Exactly.
As long as they can mix up with our environment here, our society here, I think it's very helpful to have a vibrant and mix-up society. I think that's a healthy way to do.
That's terrific. And Dr. Lin, we were talking about the new main public library in Banqiao District in New Taipei City. We'll talk about the many special features and the mission of the new main public library. And let me ask you, in addition to the kinds of services and programs that you mentioned, there's also, this new main public library in New Taipei City is very environmentally friendly because it has a diamond grade green building. And can you tell us a little bit about the concept behind this green design for the new main public library, please?
Yes. Traditionally, when we talk about a green building, we talk about efficiency, such as water, such as energy.
Yes.
But now the idea has turning from saving or reducing things to a different level.
Okay.
In the process of constructing the building, are we using eco-friendly parts? Are we using eco-friendly methods? Whether the final product of the building is friendly to the creators, not only to people, but to a small, such as birds or trees, those kind of things.
Okay.
So there are actually now 9 benchmarks in determining whether this is eco-friendly or a sustainable building.
Okay.
And we achieve each sector, each benchmark, to get the awards.
Okay.
And I think for example, the water efficiency, there are regulations indicating how much water needs to be recycled and energy, those kind of different benchmarks are evaluated by experts in green area architects, and we follow each benchmark to help to get the building as friendly as possible.
All right. And also the design is, made according to the principle of universal design and also unrestricted access. How is the public react to such a very friendly environment and very accessible design of the new main public library?
Universal design is not a new issue. It's not flamboyant thing to watch. So actually, if you walk into a universal design building, you won't notice a thing.
Okay.
But people with disability,
of course,
when they use the building, they will certainly know what's the difference between a universal design and a non-universal design building. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, let me share some thoughts of universal design with you.
Oh, yes.
Traditionally, when we talk about a barrier-free building, we tend to divide people into two different categories.
Okay.
Now, there's a fallacy.
All right.
A group of people is a people with disability.
Of course.
The other is not.
Okay.
A universal design does not treat people as two different kinds.
Okay.
They're only one. So what is the idea of universal design? Universal design is one step further from reducing the barriers. Okay. It considers different cultures, different ages, okay, different languages,
okay,
and to make the building, to make the environment mm-hmm. accessible to the greatest extent to okay. most people.
All right.
Let me give you an example. If we walk into a sign, if we walk into a toilet, a washroom,
all right,
you will definitely see a sign saying for men or for women.
Yes.
But if you go to Europe, they might use French, they might use Germany, yes. they might use different languages. But what if I use a different color? What color would you recommend us to use? Mm-hmm. If I use blue for men, what color should I use for ladies?
Maybe red?
That's correct. That's the idea of universal design.
All right.
Universal design is really a design that mm-hmm. considers most people, if not all.
Okay.
So they can easily access the material and make make use of those environments.
All right.
Let me give you another example. Traditionally, a barrier-free building, the aisles, the width of the aisle mm-hmm. is, I think it's the regulation only requires 90 centimeters. That's 0.9 meters, approximately about 3 feet. Now, a traditional, it's okay for people, with wheelchair. But now older people, what if they mm-hmm. need people to walk them through?
Yes.
90
to be held. Yes.
That's right. Mm-hmm. 90 centimeters is not enough. No. Not good enough. Mm-hmm. So we consider those kind of things. So cool. a universal design requires a bigger place mm-hmm. and a flat, no high difference on the floor. So that's a very user-friendly environment, and I think that consider most people
yes.
and try to encourage them to use the environment.
The facility.
That's correct.
And then so this must be this very thoughtful and very detailed design, and certainly welcome. Being welcomed by the local residents. And what is their reaction to the design of the library? Do they think that this is a way that maybe we can not only stay friendly with the environment, make sure the building is self-sustainable, but also in a sense that we can invite elderly people, members of the family, and also younger kids of the family, all together to come to the library to enjoy the facility?
Yes, we got very positive reactions from local communities.
Good.
Actually, universal design is not a new idea, but
no.
I'm afraid this is actually one of the very few, if not the first. Actually, as far as I know, this is the first universal design public library in Taiwan.
Okay.
Universal design in Japan, in New York, in the United States has a history of more than 2 decades, especially in Japan because the society they
mm-hmm.
are very elderly.
Yes.
So we actually follow a very high standard to design the environment that's mm-hmm.
friendly
to all people. Mm. So I think this is definitely the way to go. And okay. we at the public sector, at the government, really needs to consider all the citizens' requirements and try to encourage them to use the facilities.
Good. And Dr. Lin, we understand there are many different features, some of them are very new in the new main public library in New Taipei City. And one of which is a section called Window on the World, slow reading section. Can you tell us a little bit about the design and the concept behind this formulation of this section, please?
Yes. As I said earlier, people now can enjoy reading whenever or whatever they want.
Yes.
They do not really need to sit into a library to enjoy reading. People can read while they are commuting to their work or coming back from work. But in the library, we want to encourage people not only to come but to enjoy reading. We want them to, for example, put aside their mobile devices and maybe turn them off, and then concentrate fully on reading. And there are a lot of research proving how reading is good to health and to our individual. And I think in the day that we call ourselves our economy as knowledge economy, I think reading really not only help us become happy, but become more productive and become more up to date in every aspect. So we want people, when you come in to our, we design approximately about 7 corners, private chambers. So you can come in and enjoy reading, and we want, all the thing we want you to do is, please turn off your mobile devices and just read your books. And get yourself dive into readings as far as you can.
All right. And the visitors to the library have certainly welcomed this concept because, I would imagine, people can move away from the daily, hustle and bustle and then just relax in the corner that you described.
That's correct. We at the main library, we provide different floors and different areas for our niche patrons.
Okay.
For example, we wish people, the young and the professional people, they can come in and enjoy maybe read the magazines that they want.
Okay.
But then we also have a specialized area for the elderly people, where you can adjust the height of your a table so you can enjoy the facility. So we, at the main library, we do consider different people, different groups.
Yes.
So, and we try to, from the beginning, we try to know what are their needs.
Okay.
And so what we do is, in what way can we meet their needs and help them to get into books?
Okay.
And I think so far, I think we have been very successful.
Yes, I would imagine also by doing all these, special features and designs, that certainly has stimulated people, encouraged people to read more, maybe not just in the library, but also overall in the New Taipei City, that younger kids, older people, professional people, everybody can start if they don't already have a habit of reading. Is that also part of your mission? Please.
Yes. Like I said in the beginning, library is not just a collection of books. It's actually a knowledge center. We had a collection of knowledge. And what we try to do is get the knowledge moving from one people to another. And so you can create new knowledge.
Okay.
We try to not only provide our on-site service, we also try very hard to provide virtual service to our people. For example, because we have 102 branches in the city. 102, consider that. How many books do we have to buy each year? Because we have 102, we need to buy a lot.
Yeah,
but
yes.
Due to the constraint of budget, we cannot buy 102 copies of the same book and then place them in each location. No, we're not going to do that. No, you can't do that.
Okay.
So we have a very good interlibrary loan system.
Good.
People, they can log into our system and check, our category, our catalog, and see where do we have that book, and they just, put a request, and we will get the book from, for them. They can, and if they are willing to pay, we can even, send them the book through 7-Eleven.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, good. Dr. Lin, we were talking about the designs and kind of services for the new main public library in New Taipei City. Let's talk a little bit still about the collection. We already talked about the different collection of books. How about the collection of periodicals and magazines? What are some of them? What are some of them that are special in the new main public library? Please.
Yes, I think our mission in the libraries, we provide books and periodicals to people. And one reason that we need to provide those different materials to people is because, first, people, they cannot afford them, or secondly, they are not willing to afford them, or thirdly, they only need them for a short period of time.
Exactly.
So we consider that, and so we ask ourselves, currently, what are the most materials that people need the most? So we look at different categories, and we do a lot of focus group research, and we found out, we came to the conclusion that periodicals, namely magazines, are what they want.
Good.
So we, from the beginning, we decided to collect we have, kind of magazines to different group of peoples. Currently, we have approximately about 1,100 kinds of periodicals.
That is a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot. We try to fulfill the demands of different groups of people, like the new immigrants. But we try to fulfill them with, say, magazine in Thai language, magazines with Indonesia, or magazines from Japan, or magazine in design, in culture, and those kind of different aspects. Our purpose is to provide them with up-to-date, up-to-the-minute, current knowledge, so they can keep up with what's going on in the outside world. That's our mission, and I think so far we got very positive feedback from our library users.
Good. And in the earlier part of the program, we talk about one of the special features at the new main public library, which is Window on the World, the slow reading area. Then next, I'm going to ask you a little bit about this. Also, a new feature at the new main public library is so-called the New Taipei Memory Center. I mean, by the name itself, of course, people would think that this is talk a little bit about the history, the people, the culture about the new Taipei City. Can you then tell us, elaborate, what is the concept behind the design for the center? Please.
Exactly. I think we need to know our history, our background, our cultures, and that's a very important issue in modern society.
Yes.
So we have a collection of archives relating, that probably dating back from late 1900s. So we want to make them available to people. Now, I need to distinguish libraries of different kinds. We, New Taipei City Public Library, we are a public library category. We're different from, say, academy or academic or research library. We are only a public library. We provide access, we provide material to our citizens. We don't do research.
No.
But since we have a collection of archives, we really want people to read those materials and help them understand the history of New Taipei City and perhaps Taiwan as well. Good. So we provide a special corner called New Taipei City Memory Center with materials dating back probably maybe 100 or 150 years ago. We have, we display them, and we of course we make digital copies of those materials and make them available to people, and they can come in and perhaps see those photographs and manuscripts and of the old time, and help them know where we are right now.
Okay, good. And do you have also a policy maybe encouraging and asking the residents and people, not just in New Taipei City, but all around Taiwan, if they have some articles, books, photographs, or any kind of, manuscripts, and then they would like to donate, that will contribute to this concept of the memory center of, New Taipei City. Would that, something that you have already, begun? Is it something that you maybe, plan to do in the future?
Yes, I think that's a very good point. We have an ongoing campaign asking people to donate not only the books they don't need anymore, but maybe the photographs or manuscript that they inherited from their parents or grandparents and those kind of different materials. So let me ask if our viewers, they have books that they don't need anymore, or they have manuscript or photo they would like to donate, they can contact our library, and we are willing to collect them, and then we'll definitely take good care of them.
That's wonderful. And we mentioned earlier, Dr. Lin, that in the New Taipei City, there's a large population of new immigrants. So in the new main public library, you also have a section called Multicultural Reading. And can you tell us what are the kinds of services and books available in the Multicultural Reading Center, please?
Yes. Of course, there are books of different languages.
Okay.
And I would like to, other than books, I would like to mention a service. We provide storytelling sections to our young readers especially. We have volunteers from different cultures. We have people, new immigrants, that they are willing to donate their times, and we give them some training so they can tell stories in their mother tongues to people. So I think that's a critical part in this multicultural reading corners. And other than that, of course, we also have like seminars, reading groups, and books, of course, periodical magazines, newspapers. Our mission is try to provide equal access to different groups of our citizens.
Good.
And I think that's a very good, a very important part in our service.
Okay. You also mentioned earlier about the kinds of services and the kinds of designs that you have, especially for the younger children, and also for the elderly people. And another aspect, I think, especially with your background in information sciences, that a lot of people will be curious is the kinds of digital services that the library offers. That all of us, of course, today many people have digital devices like smartphones, flat computers, and then how would they be able to use the library services with their digital equipment, please?
We also have virtual services to our patrons.
Okay.
They can. We have an app. So they can download an app and they can borrow a book from the library.
Okay.
We have a lot of different online periodicals and books as well. Other than those online services, we also have some automatic on-site services, 24/7 library. So we want to reduce the manpower required during night shift.
Okay.
So we use a very, that's the first of its kind as well in Taiwan. We use a very large automatic book retrieving system, so people can borrow the book, and of course they need to reserve them in advance, and so we'll put them on shelves, and when they come in, the big system, they will retrieve the books for them. Okay. And we also have a automatic book returning system. Once they drop off their books, and then the book will go through a central system that will then divide the books to their final destinations.
Good.
And other than that, we also have some 3D technology devices in the library. For example, we have a 3D system that are specialized for kids.
Okay.
They can draw, for example, fish, and then we're going to present them on the camera, and so they can see the fish they just draw. Swimming in the water, those kind of different things. What we try to achieve is try to get them motivated get them interested in those things, and they start reading.
Okay, that's terrific. I'm certain that a lot of viewers like myself would, look forward to even better and more diverse services and programs from the new main library in the future. Dr. Lin, when we're talking about the designs and services of the new main public library, let's talk a little bit about the kinds of, promotional strategy and also the introductory materials that you have prepared for the launching of the new main public library. One of which is, I understand that you and your staff members have already prepared 3 promotional movies to promote the new main public library, and also talk about its features, talk about its books, and the kinds of programs. Can you tell us a little more, elaborate, please, about these 3 promotional films, please?
Yes, we actually set up a detailed plan to launch our new library.
Good.
And one of the campaigns that we have is to develop a film.
Okay.
Now, I need to emphasize that those films are done in-house by our colleagues. They are not commissioned to an external resources.
To outsource it.
No.
Okay.
They are not outsourced. That relates a very interesting question, which is, from my point of view, for example, I'm in my mid-50s.
No,
I'm going to use my way to promote my new library.
Good.
But when we outreach to younger generation, we got a different opinion.
Okay.
So when we developed the film, the 3 mini films, we outreach to our colleagues, and they gave us a different opinion. So we just let them do it. I personally did not involve in the details of, manuscripts or the scenarios or as to how to have the film done. I just let them do it.
Okay.
And it turned out very good. And I think that proves one thing.
All right.
In order to get to the younger generation, we really need to listen to them.
All right.
Should I, from the very beginning, use my way to promote the library? I'm going to outreach only people with, similar age, similar background as I do.
Yes.
But since we use different background, younger generation, they provide very good insights as to how to promote our library. And I think those 3 mini feature films are very positive answers to the questions.
Okay, good. And we also know, as you mentioned earlier, that in addition to the collection of books and the collection of magazines and periodicals, you would like to see the new main public library in Banqiao in the future becoming sort of like a center of the community. So you mentioned earlier about possibly in the future offering some courses, trainings and programs to attract different target groups, the new immigrants, the younger people, young kids also, and also for the elderly or people who are recently retired from their work. And can you share with us some of your vision and some of your ideas in terms of preparing and also promoting the different courses and programs that you have in mind, please?
Yes, indeed. Since the advent of the internet, people don't come to library as often as they used to. So we at libraries, we really need to encourage people to come in. But the fact is, they don't really need to come in to borrow a book. Yes. We can do it interlibrary long, digital, and then we can have them. Yes. We can even have the individual physical book delivered to their house. So I think we really need to ask ourselves, what kind of services are we going to provide to our citizens? And according to a lot of different surveys and research in the United States and in Europe and in Japan as well, library today, they are becoming as a social hub for people. What do I mean by that is, it's not only a place to exchange knowledge, but it's also a place to have people to engage with a different group so we can have a new knowledge created. For example, we today here at the library, we need to provide seminars to the elderly people who are not that familiar with mobile devices, who are not that familiar with the current technologies.
Okay.
And for example, we need to provide internet access, which is so important in today's environment. We need to provide those internet services to the people that are not afford to them. And access to the internet is a key part in today's environment because the link are going to provide external resources to our citizens. So the link itself, that's what we need to provide to them.
Okay.
So we at the library, we need to provide them the link to external services to such as, if they need our social worker, they can come in to our library and then log on to the system, and then we can help them to get the services they need. And so those kind of like training, seminars, and digital literacy programs are what we're going to concentrate in the future.
Okay. And looking at, the world today, Dr. Lin, it is very much interconnected. It's very much interdependent. And like you said, the environment that we're living today is very different from just 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And what is then your vision, based on your years of work experience and also your, area of, specialties when you were in graduate school, that what do you see library services in the future, not just in Taiwan, but also in, any other part of the world, please?
Yes, I like the idea of library for all very much. I think that slogan says it all.
Okay.
Library for all. What does that mean? From the beginning, we talk about universal design.
Yes.
That means we need to provide equal access to different groups of people. And that's part of the library for all concept. But other than the physical accessibility, we also need to provide virtual service to different groups of people.
Of course.
So what are we going to provide to our new immigrants? What are we going to provide to our young readers? What are we going to provide to our elderly patrons?
Okay.
And I think those are the key issues. And let's not forget from the very beginning, from many, many hundred years ago, from the starting point of library, the concept of library, what we are going to do is we facilitate an environment to encourage knowledge sharing.
Okay.
So new knowledge can be created.
Right.
So I think that's our service, and I think that's where we see library service in the future.
All right. We have a little bit amount of time left in the program today, and Dr. Lin, I will imagine this is, of course, very much a landmark, library building in Taiwan, not just in terms of its collections of books and magazines, but also in terms of its concept, from the design of the building, all the way down to the detail of the interior design, including universal design concept and unrestricted access. And do you think that maybe in the future, by this building being a landmark, that maybe other public library systems around Taiwan will come to you and knock on the door and say, hey, Dr. Lin, is there any way that we can facilitate our exchanges, maybe with other cities and counties around Taiwan, and also on the international level? There may be other countries, not just people going to Japan, that people will come to Taiwan, come to New Taipei City and say, Dr. Lin, please share with us your experiences.
Thank you very much for your excellent question. I think today's environment, we do not need very big, very tall, very sizable building as our library.
Okay.
It's not that important in terms of in terms of a library. The size does not need to be very big.
No.
But the real critical idea of the library is the services that we provide.
Of course.
So I think up to this moment, we got tons of positive feedback from different parts of Taiwan. The groups and of other libraries, they come in to share thoughts with us. And I do think in the future, we can get those ideas spread out to other architects or other government sectors when they build the next library of their own. That is, we do not need a huge landmark building.
No.
That's not the library about.
Okay.
The library, the critical idea of the library, it's service and its collection. It's the environment that it facilitates. So I think we're going to get those ideas spread out and hope that we can get all the public libraries in Taiwan into the next era, which is sometimes called Library 2.0, and maybe Library 3.0 as well.
Yes, all right. And finally, I'm going to ask you something very personal. Dr. Lin, we know you from your years serving as a TV journalist in Taiwan and also in New York, in the United States. And also later on, you were an assistant professor in the local university. Now you're top government official in the local government of New Taipei City. You play many different roles along your career. Which one do you enjoy the best and why?
And I actually enjoy a role called fatherhood.
Yes, that is the most important.
That's the most important part. And I do value my family life as the most important part of my life. And on my career path, I do enjoy
the different
aspects. And I think I always share this with my younger colleagues that whatever position you are on or whatever areas of your responsibility, just try your best.
Yes.
Do whatever you are supposed to do.
Okay.
And be responsible to yourself.
Okay.
And I think that's the central idea of my
that is also very sound advice for people, not just in Taiwan, young people all over the world. Thank you very much, Dr. Lin, for your time and giving us that very detailed introduction about the new main public library in New Taipei City. Certainly want to wish you and your colleagues all the best in your future personal and professional endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to take part in this program.
Well, thank you. All right, thank you for watching our program. I'll see you next time on MacroView Television.